ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਹੈ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦਾ NRI ਵਰਡ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਤੋਂ ਕੋਵਿਡ-19 ਅਪਡੇਟਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਮੈਂ ਰੁਪਿੰਦਰ ਕੌਰ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰੀ ਫੇਰ ਤੋਂ ਹਾਜ਼ਰ ਹਾਂ। ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੋਵਿਡ-19 ਕੇਸਿਸ ਦਾ ਅੰਕੜਾ 60,000 ਤੋਂ ਉੱਪਰ ਹੋ ਚੁੱਕਾ ਹੈ। ਇਸ ਦੇ ਇਲਾਵਾ ਹੋਰ ਕੀ ਕੁਝ ਹੈ ਖਾਸ ਰਹੇਗੀ ਨਜ਼ਰ ਅੱਜ NRI ਵਰਡ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ। ਪ੍ਰਾਈਮ ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰ ਜਸਟਿਨ ਟਰੂਡੋ ਨੇ ਅੱਜ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰੀ ਫਿਰ ਤੋਂ ਨੇਸ਼ਨ ਨੂੰ ਐਡਰੈਸ ਕੀਤਾ ਅਤੇ ਅੱਜ ਦਾ ਖਾਸ ਐਲਾਨ ਐਗਰੋ ਫੂਡ ਇੰਡਸਟਰੀ ਨੂੰ ਧਿਆਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਰੱਖ ਕੇ ਕੀਤਾ ਗਿਆ ਸੀ। ਅੱਜ ਪ੍ਰਾਈਮ ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰ ਜਸਟਿਨ ਟਰੂਡੋ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਐਗਰੋ ਫੂਡ ਇੰਡਸਟਰੀ ਲਈ $252 ਮਿਲੀਅਨ ਦਿੱਤੇ ਗਏ ਨੇ।
Today, we're announcing more than $77 million to support food processors during this crisis. This is money that they can use to purchase personal protective equipment for workers, adapt to health protocols, and support other social distancing measures. It will also help expand or adapt our processing capacity to increase the amount of Canadian products we make domestically. To help cattle and hog producers, we will launch a $125 million National Agri-Recovery Initiative. Farms and processing plants are raising more animals than the system can process into things like steak and bacon because of COVID-19. For many farmers, this crisis means that they have to keep animals for longer periods of time, and that can be expensive. So with this funding, we're giving extra help to beef and pork producers so that they can adapt to this crisis. This is an initial investment, and if we need to add more, we will. With hotels and restaurants closed, too much of certain types of food, like milk, butter, and potatoes, is being produced. While some donations have been made to food banks, we don't have the capacity right now to redistribute such large quantities of food. And some producers have no choice but to throw out their product. It's a waste of food and a loss of revenue for the people who worked so hard to produce it. To avoid this, we're launching a surplus food purchase program, starting with a $50 million fund. The government will buy large quantities of certain products at risk of going waste, say potatoes or poultry, and redistribute them to organizations addressing food insecurity. This will help ensure that our farmers are being compensated for their hard work and that our most vulnerable have access to fresh food during this crisis. Taken together, these measures represent a $252 million investment to support the people who keep our grocery stores stocked and our families fed.
ਰੁਕ ਕਰੀਏ ਓਨਟਾਰੀਓ ਦਾ ਤਾਂ ਓਨਟਾਰੀਓ ਵਿੱਚ ਅੱਜ ਕੋਵਿਡ-19 ਦੇ 387 ਹੋਰ ਕੇਸਿਸ ਰਿਪੋਰਟ ਕੀਤੇ ਗਏ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ 61 ਡੈਥਸ ਵੀ ਰਿਪੋਰਟ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ ਗਈਆਂ ਨੇ। ਇਸ ਹਫਤੇ ਨੂੰ ਮੈਂਟਲ ਹੈਲਥ ਵੀਕ ਵਜੋਂ ਮਨਾਇਆ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ। ਇਸ ਨੂੰ ਮੁੱਖ ਰੱਖਦਿਆਂ ਓਨਟਾਰੀਓ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰੀਮੀਅਰ ਡਗ ਫੋਰਡ ਨੇ ਅੱਜ ਦੀ ਅਨਾਉਂਸਮੈਂਟ ਕੀਤੀ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਓਨਟਾਰੀਓ ਵਿੱਚ ਡਿਜੀਟਲ ਮੈਂਟਲ ਹੈਲਥ ਸਕਰੀਨਿੰਗ ਨੂੰ ਹੋਰ ਵਧਾਇਆ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ ਜਿਸ ਨਾਲ ਹਜ਼ਾਰਾਂ ਹੀ ਓਨਟਾਰੀਅਨਸ ਦੀ ਮਦਦ ਹੋ ਸਕੇਗੀ।
To support those struggling with mental health during these difficult times, our government has invested $12 million into virtual and online mental health supports. And this week, we're rolling out expanded access to those critical supports at no cost to patients. These mental health supports can be accessed safely from home. You can take an assessment and receive support from a therapist. And we know many of our frontline heroes need support too. They're the ones in the trenches. They're the ones working 12-hour shifts. Their jobs can be stressful and demanding. But every day they get up and they go to work. They help people and save lives. They're absolute heroes. They're superheroes, if you ask me. And I can't thank them enough for everything they do, day in and day out. They take care of us. And we're going to make sure we take care of them too. These new virtual mental health supports will also be available to our frontline workers whenever they need it. We've been working closely with our hospitals and Ontario Health to deliver these supports, including online peer support groups and access to mental health workers. We'll make sure everyone has the support they need to stay well in mind and body, because mental health is health. Thank you, stay well, and God bless the people of Ontario.
I'm proud to be here today to announce that in partnership with MindBeacon and Morneau-Chapelle, our government is significantly increasing access to internet-based cognitive behavioral therapy programs for those experiencing heightened anxiety and depression during the COVID-19 pandemic, including our frontline healthcare workers. In addition, we are also proud to announce that we have established a mental health and addictions COVID-19 response table chaired by the Ontario Mental Health and Addictions Centre of Excellence within Ontario Health.
NRI वर्ड ਵਿੱਚ ਫਿਲਹਾਲ ਸਮਾਂ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਇੱਕ ਬ੍ਰੇਕ ਦਾ। ਬ੍ਰੇਕ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਸਾਡੀ ਇਹ ਖਾਸ ਪੇਸ਼ਕਸ਼ ਜਾਰੀ ਰਹੇਗੀ ਤੇ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਪਬਲਿਕ ਸੇਫਟੀ ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰ ਬਿਲ ਬਲੇਅਰ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਇੱਕ ਛੋਟੀ ਜਿਹੀ ਬ੍ਰੇਕ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ। ਬ੍ਰੇਕ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰੀ ਫਿਰ ਤੋਂ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਹੁਣ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਪਬਲਿਕ ਸੇਫਟੀ ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰ ਆਨਰੇਬਲ ਬਿਲ ਬਲੇਅਰ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ, ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਹਾਲ ਹੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੌਲਟ ਸਟਾਈਲ ਵੈਪਨ ਫਾਇਰ ਆਰਮਸ ਨੂੰ ਬੈਨ ਕਰਨ ਦਾ ਐਲਾਨ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ।
Good morning, Minister. Thank you so much for taking out time for PDC.
Well, good morning, and it's my pleasure to join you today.
With the government's announcement to ban assault-style firearms, Conservative leader Andrew Scheer says that with this announcement, the government has opened up the debate during the time of pandemic, when the Prime Minister says this is the time when Canadians should be unified. Why did you choose this time to make this announcement?
Well, unfortunately, for the Conservatives, there is no good time to take effective measures to deal with gun control. And quite frankly, they often just tell us what the gun lobby tells them to say. But we promised Canadians that we would take action. And, only 2 weeks ago, 22 innocent Canadians lost their life in yet another tragic gun shooting, where an individual armed themselves with these weapons and then took many innocent lives. And tragically, that's not the first time this has happened in Canada. 14 women lost their life at École Polytechnique. 6 Muslim worshippers lost their life in a mosque shooting just a few years ago. And we've seen Mounties and other innocent people across the country who died as a result of people using these weapons, which were never designed for hunting purposes. They're not sports weapons. They were designed for soldiers to kill soldiers. And there is no place. And we promised Canadians last year that we would take action to take these weapons and prohibit them from our country. And other sensible countries have done exactly the same thing. These weapons are prohibited in New Zealand, in Australia, in the United Kingdom, and many other countries who value the safety of their citizens over their weapons. And so we prohibited them because it was the right thing to do, and we promised Canadians we would do it. And frankly, after 22 innocent lives were lost, if now is not the right time, then I would ask Mr. Scheer, when would ever the right time be? I would also point out that we have promised to do many other things. The assault weapons were a serious issue, but we also know that handguns and gang activity in our communities is a serious problem. The smuggling of guns across our borders, the diversion of guns from people purchasing them legally and selling them illegally, and the theft of guns from legal gun owners. And so we have also said we will bring forward legislation at the very first opportunity, as soon as Parliament resumes, to bring in new authorities for the police, but also new penalties, new offenses for those who smuggle guns, who illegally traffic in guns, or who steal guns and use them on our streets. We've also made very significant investments. I heard the Premier of Ontario say, we need to do more at the border. I agree. And we have done a great deal more at the border. We invested $347 million in law enforcement to deal with guns and gangs, and specifically $89 million we invested in border services. And, the Conservatives voted against these measures when we brought them in last year. I'm hoping, now that they're suggesting that they do support them, that they will vote and support the legislation that we will bring forward when Parliament resumes. And last year, we gave the province of Ontario, the Premier Ford, $65 million. And through Premier Ford, to get that money to municipal police services in Peel Region and in Toronto and right across Ontario, to give the police the resources they said they needed to deal with guns and gangs. Many of those police services are still waiting for that money from the province that we gave them. But we're very hopeful that Premier will now act on those things, given his earlier comments. And we will make the changes at our borders to make sure that people who smuggle guns are dealt with appropriately according to law, that there are real consequences for those crimes. And we will also make the investments in policing and at the border services so that our people have the resources they need to stop those guns from coming into our country. But it's also important, Rupinder, to remember, it's not just about the supply of guns. If you want to keep your community safe, you also have to look at the demand for guns. And that means making investments in kids and in families and in communities. And we all know how important that is, that we need to make sure that our young people have better choices and better opportunities. And during this terrible time of pandemic, many of young people are worried about the future, worried about their future employment prospects. And we will have to make sure that we invest in those kids, support their families, and support their communities to help them make better choices. If young people don't get involved in gang activity, if there is no demand for these guns, then it'll help us at the border in keeping those guns out of our community. So we will reduce the supply, and we will invest in communities to help our kids to reduce the demand for those guns.
But with this buyback policy, the owners will be able to sell back their weapons to the government.
Well, let's be very clear that the Canadians who purchase these weapons, although I think most Canadians agree, the vast majority of us agree, there is no place for such weapons designed for the killing of people in our society. It's important to remember that the Canadians that bought these guns did so legally, and that we've had, I think, a very appropriate and sensible change of law now that they're prohibited. But I also want to treat those Canadians who purchased them legally fairly. And so we have told them they can no longer use these weapons. They can't be used. They can't take them target shooting. They can't shoot them. They can't sell them. They can't transfer them to anyone else. But I want to make sure that they are treated fairly. So we will introduce legislation that will allow them to surrender their weapons and be compensated, a buy-it-back program. We promised them that we will buy these weapons back from them because that's the right and fair thing to do. I think ultimately Canadians want us to act to keep them safe. And these weapons represent an unacceptable risk to all of us. And so we will have them removed. But I want to make sure that we treat the Canadians that purchased them legally fairly. We've told them, you can't have these weapons. They are now prohibited. But we will have an amnesty period for over 2 years that will allow us to put a buyback program to find a way that safely and effectively and respectfully remove those weapons from our society.
But when they can keep it under the amnesty provision, what is the point of ban?
No. To be very clear, the amnesty is what we call a non-permissive grandfathering. The weapons cannot be used. They cannot take them to the range and shoot them. They can't discharge them at all. They cannot be fired. They can't be sold. They can't be transferred to anyone else. They must be stored in a vault. But we want to make sure that we want to bring in forward the legislation and have a budget so that we can purchase these weapons back and then have them destroyed. And that is the fair way to treat those Canadians who purchase those weapons. To do otherwise, I think, is unfair. But we are not allowing them to ever be used again. They are now prohibited. But we now have to find a respectful and responsible way, responsible in the use of Canadian taxpayers' dollars, but also responsible in our efforts to make the community safe, to ensure that those weapons are surrendered and destroyed, and that the individuals who legally own them, now that they're no longer legal to own, that they're treated fairly.
And will this further include handguns too?
Well, handguns is a challenge that we will also deal with in the legislation that we bring forward. It's a very important question because people say much of the problem is handguns, and I agree. And so one of the things that we have undertaken, that we will bring forward legislation. We looked at all of the ways in which criminals get handguns. They get them either through smuggling across the border, or they're stolen from legal gun owners, or legal gun owners purchase them legally and then sell them illegally for an obscene profit. And that's how the three ways in which guns get into the hands of criminals. And so we will deal with all three sources of supply. We are going to bring in new resources, new authorities, new offenses, and new penalties for people who smuggle guns across the border. So we'll give the police and our border officers the tools that they need to stop this. And for those who engage in that criminal activity, there will be serious consequences. We also know that many of these guns are stolen. And so we are going to bring in a requirement. All handguns will have to be stored in a safe or a vault. We have seen a number of instances where retailers were not doing that, and their guns were stolen and ended up on our streets. And unfortunately, there are also criminals who legally buy guns and then sell them illegally to people who should have no right to have them. And we're going to make sure that the police have the tools they need and the resources they need to detect and deter that crime. But for people, when they get caught, there will be new offenses and strong, strict new penalties that reflects how seriously we take these offenses. And so we're doing all of those things to restrict the supply of guns that get into the hands of criminals. We're also making investments in kids and communities to reduce the demand for those guns. And, we also find, Rupinder, that in some circumstances, the presence of a gun can make a dangerous situation deadly. What I mean by that, in a situation where a woman is living with an abusive partner, or a situation where a person may be suicidal and a risk to themselves, or someone who is online and advocating hate and violence against a religious minority or women or any other vulnerable population. And when that happens, those are what we call red flags. And I want to make sure the police, but also doctors, family members, victims of these terrible crimes can take the steps necessary to remove firearms from their situation, to keep themselves safe. Those are red flag laws, and we're going to introduce and empower communities and victims and parents and doctors and teachers and the police to take the steps necessary to remove firearms from that dangerous situation and prevent those dangerous situations from becoming deadly.
But Minister, apart from this, you are mentioning red flag laws. Do you think with all these announcements, all these measures coming in, this will help in preventing future tragedies?
Yes, of course. That's exactly why we're doing it, Ravinder, because gun violence in our communities is unacceptable. No woman should have to live in fear and in her own home. No person who may be suicidal should have access to a firearm that makes it so easy to take their own life. And no one who is advocating violence against a religious minority or women or anyone else should ever have access to a firearm. We know that we have to do more to keep guns out of our community. The gun violence that happens in our communities is unacceptable. You know that as a police officer and as a police chief, I spent most of my life trying to keep communities safe. I want to make sure that the police and our communities have the resources and the tools and the support that they need to keep our communities safe. And for those who represent an unacceptable risk to society, who arm themselves with these guns or profit from their sale, that they are treated appropriately and that there are real consequences for putting everyone else at risk through the use of firearms, the trafficking of firearms in our communities. And so we're bringing forward very strong new gun control measures. And we're making significant investments, not just in police, but in communities to keep our communities safer. And, we will work very closely with the municipal governments and the police services across the country and with the province of Ontario. Just last year, I brought $65 million to the province of Ontario and through the province of Ontario to distribute to municipal police services across the province. And the police services are anxious to receive those monies and want to get to work on dealing with guns and gangs in their communities. And, during this terrible time of pandemic, when so many of us are social isolating and it's changed our lives so dramatically, we have not seen a reduction in gun violence. We have not seen a reduction in domestic violence. And so the need for action is now. And when people say to us, now is not the right time, for them, never is the right time. They vote against these measures even when we're not in pandemic. And frankly, I'm not sure how anyone can address the issue of gun violence if they're afraid to take action against guns. We're not afraid, and we're going to do what is necessary to keep Canadians safe.
Definitely. Well, Minister, thank you so much for taking out time for PTC and sharing all this information for the new announcement. Stay safe.
Thank you much, and you as well, and to all your listeners.
ਸੋ ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਲਈ NRI ਵਰਡ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਸ ਇੰਨਾ ਹੀ। ਫਿਲਹਾਲ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦਿਓ ਇਜਾਜ਼ਤ। ਤੁਸੀਂ ਰੱਖੋ ਆਪਣਾ ਖਿਆਲ ਤੇ ਦੇਸ਼ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਦੀਆਂ ਖਬਰਾਂ ਲਈ ਬਣੇ ਰਹੋ PTC ਦੇ ਨਾਲ।